Hi students. So we are discussing class 9th economic chapter, the story of Palampur village. In our last video we talked about farming activity. In that we discussed 4 points, that is fixed land. Because of fixed land, what are the ways to produce more from the same land, right? And because we were able to produce more from the same land, there was green revolution. So that was the third point. And why this green revolution happened, or why it was possible, because of the electricity, and that was being our fourth point, right? So this is how we saw different interrelated points in last video. Now let's continue those topics. So the fifth one is sustainable use of land. See, as we know that we have a fixed amount of land, means naturally the land which we can use for cultivation, that we cannot increase, and there are so many other factors for that, like population, and because of the population people have started using the land for other purposes other than cultivation, right? So with having all these reasons, we need to use the land very mindfully and carefully, and that is what called sustainable use of land. So this word sustain means to use properly or to maintain it, right? So we need to maintain the land which is we are using for cultivation. So let's discuss that. See, the land which is our natural resource. So because it's our natural resource, we need to be very careful in its use. But with modern farming coming into the picture, we started overusing the land resources, right? Then it's not only the modern farming, because of the green revolution also, people became overwhelmed with the green revolution. They started uh, using more of a combination of fertilizers and all these things like chemical fertilizers. And because of this overuse of chemical fertilizers, soil fertility started decreasing, right? Again, as we saw, there was different combination for green, which was responsible for green revolution. That was chemical fertilizer, then irrigation facilities. So that is the third point in this sustainable use of land. So it says that it says that continuous use of groundwater for tube well. So it reduced the water table below the ground, right? So again, that is the problem. Now, see, all these environmental resources like soil fertility and groundwater, they have been built over many years. It's not that you just keep your land aside for 1 or 2 year and then you can get your fertility of the soil back. It's not like that. It takes so many years, right, to get the soil fertility and to replenish the, replenish the ground water level back. So it's not so easy. But we are not able to give them the due justice, and in fact we are using them more often, like quite frequently, and that is also not judiciously. We are not being human when it comes to utilizing resources, especially natural resources. So it's very difficult to restore them, right? So this is our point of sustainable use of land. Okay, so what are the factors which are not however, the name of this point is sustainable use of land, but in this we have to discuss that how we are not using mindfully, right? So that is it. Now the next point is distribution of land between farmers and farmers of Palampur. Not only Palampur, distribution of land between different people. So not all the people, they don't have sufficient land for cultivation, right? Like we have so much of population. Is it that all the populations and all those people who are involved in this farming activities, they all have same amount of land, more or less? No. In fact, there is so much of difference between this. For example, almost like 1/3 of 450 families, they are landless. Can you imagine? Almost 1/3 of the 450 families, they are landless. Means 150 families, most of them, they are Dalits, and they don't have land for cultivation. So now, because they don't have land for cultivation, naturally they will work something else. So remaining families who own land, right? Some people, they don't even have land. Remaining families, those who have land or who own them, 240 families cultivate small plots of land that is less than 2 hectares. Now, because of that small plot of land, it's not possible for these people to use modern techniques like tractors and other stuff in the farm field, because the piece of land is very small, right? You cannot utilize modern techniques in such farm fields. And because of that, the yield is reduced, right? So these are all again interrelated problems. So the first point we saw was many people, they don't have land. Second point, those who have land, they have less than 2 hectares, again, which is not good size for the modern techniques. Then there are 60 families, that is if we talk about medium and large farmers. Okay, those who have less than 2 hectares, they are small farmers. Those who have more than 2 hectares, right, they are medium and large farmers. So they have more than 2 hectares, and very few of them, they have land extending over 10 hectares, right? However, some of them have land more than 2 hectares, but again, the class in which, or the ratio of farmers who are having more than 10 hectares, it's very less. Okay, so this is how distribution of land is very unequal, right? Now, when we talk about distribution of land, or when we talk about land available for cultivation, then we need to talk about laborers. Who will provide labor, right? So let's discuss that. See guys, farming requires great deal of hard work. So when you need to do hard work, then you need to have laborers for that. Okay. Now, small farmers, they are living with their families. So because they are small farmers, they don't have much land available to them. They don't have financial facilities, so they can't afford hiring laborers. So what they do is, they, along with their families, they only start working on their own farm, right? So they provide the labor for the farming, and they themselves are the labor for their farming, right? So this is what small farmers do. Now we talk about medium and large farmers. They hire farm laborers to work on their field. Okay. Now, these farm laborers who come, now why do they come? Because they don't have their own land, right? Or maybe they have very small plot of land, so they can't utilize that, and they can't earn properly, and that's why they have to work on somebody else's farm, right? And because they work on somebody else's farm, however, they work hard, but they don't have any right over the crops. They don't have any right over the crops. In fact, they are being paid. Okay. Now, these wages which they are being paid, that is also, it can be in cash or kind of crop. Sometimes they are given cash, sometimes they are given food, sometimes meals also they are given. Instead of money, they get some food or crops or meals. Just maybe sometimes some farmers work whole day in the farm, and then they just get food, right? Or meal for 2 times. So just to survive, farmers do that. It's very bad, but it is happening in India. Wages also depending on the region to region. In some region, the wages are high. In some region, the wages are very low. Again, it differs. It varies from crop to crop. So it depends on region also. It depends on crop also. Because for some crops, the wages are high. For some crops, the wages are low. Again, it is decided by the farmers who own the land. For one, this wages also depends on the farming activity, like what kind of activities they are involved, these laborers are involved in. If the activity is very tedious and if it's very hard, then they get more amount. And if the activity is less or with the very, it's very easy, then they don't get much amount, right? So there is now when they get wages, we are actually talking about their employment, and that is the next interrelated point in that. That is duration of the employment. So they are employed on some of the farmers, laborers, they are employed on a daily basis, some depending on the activity, and some for the whole year. So depending on their activity, farm laborers have employment either on a daily basis or on an activity basis or on a whole year basis. All right. So now coming to the next point, that is capital needed in farming. So now as in employment, as in laborers, we talk about the small farmers, middle, uh, you know uh, big farmers, right? So we also can talk about, see, this is small farmers and medium and large farmers. So when we talk about the laborers, the same thing goes for the capital also. So again, we are talking about small farmers, medium farmers, and large farmers. Small farmers, they have to borrow money to arrange for the capital, naturally, because they don't have enough for themselves only. Then how do they have for the capital? We know what kind of capital we need for farming, right? So they have to borrow from large laborers, either from the large farmers, or from the money lenders or traders who provide them money. But they provide them money at a very high rate of interest, which is again bad for farmers. They are like, they have to borrow money at a very high rate of interest, and in the next year when they want to pay it again, they don't have enough, so again they have to borrow from somewhere else to pay off this one. So this is a vicious circle in which they are being trapped every year, right? And this thing put them at great distress to repay the loan, because they are not able to repay the loan. So this was about small farmers. Now let's talk about medium and large farmers. They have their own savings, because they are kind of, from, uh, they are doing well in this farming activities. So they earn properly and they can save also. So they use this saving for their capital. And this is how they are able to arrange for the capital needed. Then this last point we are discussing here is sale of surplus farm product. Surplus means extra. Okay. So again, in this also we will talk about small farmers, large and medium farmers. So small farmers, naturally they have very little surplus, because see, the first thing is they have less than 2 hectares of land. So in less than 2 hectares of land, how much they are going to produce? Very less. The second reason why they are not able to produce much is because of the small land. They can't use modern techniques, so they have to rely on the traditional farming techniques. Because of this traditional farming techniques, they are not able to produce much, right? Because they are not able to produce much, there is no surplus. They can't even imagine about surplus. Whatever they produce, it's so small that it is substantial share is kept for only for their own needs. They just use for themselves. They don't have enough which they can sell outside. Okay, so basically it is the medium and large farmer who supply to the market. Okay, so now let's talk about them. See, they sell the surplus to the market, and because their earning is saved, they can earn well, because they are selling off. So they can earn well, so they can save well, and because of that saving they can buy the capital needed for the next season. So they are able to arrange the capital, and this is how they use their it's not only the capital needed, but when you talk about capital, it's like cattle trucks and all these setup shops. Some of them are very smart. They don't only work on the farms, they also buy shops or other such things, so that they are able to survive in a long run, in a off season also. Because sometimes in case of drought and all, they are not able to rely on, they are not able to dependent on the they can't depend on the agricultural activity. So in that case, there's because of that reason they set up shops and all these things, right, so that they can have the extra income. So this is how we are coming to an end of this third video of ours. In this, I'll just quickly go over again what we have seen. हमने क्या देखा? हमने इसमें सस्टेनेबल यूज ऑफ लैंड से स्टार्ट किया था, मतलब हमें किस तरह से हम लैंड को अच्छे से यूटिलाइज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, वो हमने देखा. नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज हैं, फिर भी हम उसको अच्छे से नहीं यूज कर रहे हैं ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन की वजह से. इनफैक्ट ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन अच्छी बात है, बट उस चक्कर में हमने सॉइल फर्टिलिटी बहुत कम कर दी है केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर यूज करके. इरिगेशन फैसिलिटी के नाम पर हमने ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल जो हमारा है वो भी हमने कम कर दिया. सॉइल फर्टिलिटी बहुत ज्यादा टाइम लेती है बढ़ने के लिए, सो अगेन इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट टू रिस्टोर देम. फिर हमने देखा कि बहुत डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ लैंड जो है वो बहुत ही डिफरेंट है, उसमें बहुत गैप है. हम किन दोनों की बात कर रहे हैं? हम स्मॉल फार्मर्स की बातें कर रहे थे और मीडियम एंड लार्ज फार्मर्स की बात कर रहे थे उसमें. फिर हमने डेटा देखा कि कितनी फैमिलीज. सी स्टूडेंट्स, ये डेटा याद रखना बहुत जरूरी है. इकोनॉमिक्स पूरा डेटा पर ही डिपेंडेंट होता है, तो ये सब चीजें नोट डाउन कर लेना. I have already underlined them in your notes. This is your textbook only. Main points of textbook I have taken. I have already underlined them for you. But इसका भी फ्लो चार्ट एक बना देना आप. तो ये सब फैमिलीज के नंबर्स दिए हैं आपको, ठीक है, कि कौन सी फैमिली बहुत कम लैंड उनके पास होती है, फिर किनके पास 2 हेक्टर से ज्यादा होती है. अगर मतलब 10 हेक्टर से ज्यादा तो बहुत कम लोगों के पास होती है. तो ये बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा गैप है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ लैंड के बारे में. फिर लेबर के बारे में हमने डिस्कस किया. इसमें भी हम स्मॉल और मीडियम एंड लार्ज फार्मर्स के साथ डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि भाई किस तरह से लेबर की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, किस तरह से स्मॉल फार्मर्स खुद ही लेबर बन जाते हैं अपनी फार्म के लिए, और किस तरह से मीडियम एंड लार्ज फार्मर्स हैं जो हायर कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, अभी उनके लेबर जब हम हायर करते हैं तब उनके वेजेस की बात आती है. किस तरह से उनको वेज पे किया जाता है, किस तरह से उनको किस तरह से उनके वेजेस किस बेसिस पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं, ये सारी चीजें आपको पूछ सकते हैं. ठीक है, कि उनको किस फॉर्म में वेज दिया जाता है और ये जो वेजेस हैं वो किस पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये रीजन पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं, क्रॉप पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं और फार्मिंग एक्टिविटी पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं. फिर वेजेस की बात आती है तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात आती है, तो हमने एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी देखा कि इस तरह से कुछ फार्मर्स डेली बेसिस पर एम्प्लॉय होते हैं, कभी काम मिलता है कभी नहीं मिलता. कोई पर्टिकुलर फार्म एक्टिविटी के लिए ही रखते हैं उन लोगों को कि भाई सोइंग के लिए रखा, प्लाविंग के लिए रखा, इरिगेशन के लिए रखा. तो इस तरह से डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फार्मिंग एक्टिविटीज होती है. हार्वेस्टिंग के लिए रख लिया किसी को, तो इस तरह से उनकी एम्प्लॉयमेंट डिपेंड करती है. कोई कोई पूरे साल के लिए ऑक्यूपाई होता है इसमें. फिर हम कैपिटल की बात की हमने कि किस तरह से स्मॉल फार्मर्स नहीं कर पाते मैनेज और उनको बोरो करने पड़ते हैं मनी एट अ वेरी हाई इंटरेस्ट, और किस तरह से मीडियम एंड लार्ज फार्मर्स अपनी सेविंग की वजह से कर पाते हैं कैपिटल. सरवाइव कर पाते हैं और वो खुद की कैपिटल खड़ी कर पाते हैं। ठीक है। सेल ऑफ सरप्लस, अगेन हमने उसमें बात की स्मॉल और लार्ज और मीडियम की, क्योंकि स्मॉल फार्मर्स के पास इतनी लैंड ही अवेलेबल नहीं होती है, तो फिर वो बेचे कहाँ से, उसके रीजंस भी हमने देखे डिफरेंट डिफरेंट। फिर लार्ज और मीडियम फार्मर्स की बात की हमने कि वो लोग अपना अर्निंग अच्छे से सेव कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि वो लोग बेचते हैं मार्केट में एंड दे कैन अर्न सम मनी। उसमें भी सिचुएशन काफी अच्छी नहीं है इंडिया में। ठीक है। सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव सीन. So almost half of the chapter is finished here. From the next video, we will be starting non-farming activities. All right. So till then, start making your own notes and flowchart. All right. Goodbye.